So good day everyone, and now I'm going to present to you all about the softball rule number 9 to rule number 12. So first, we have rule number 9, which is dead ball and play. Section 1. In this rule, we have three sections. So first, section 1 is the ball is dead. The ball is dead, not in play, in the following circumstances. A. When the ball is bat illegally. B. When the batter steps from one box to another when the pitcher is taking the signal or appears to be taking the signal from the pitcher's plate. C. When no pitch is declared. Then D. When a pitch ball touches any parts of the batter's person or clothing, whether the ball is stuck at or not. E. When a foul fly ball is not caught. When the offense team causes interference rather. When a fair battle shall strike an umpire or runner. And E. Before touching a fielder, including a pitcher, and before passing a fielder than the pitcher without being touched. Note: when a runner is hit by a fair and touched but ball while in contact with their base, unless they intentionally interfere with the ball or a defensive player making a play, the ball may be ruled dead or remain live, depending on the position of the fielder closest to the base. And H, we have when the ball is outside the established playing limits of the playing area. When an accident to a batter runner or runner prevents him from proceeding to the awarded base, he must substitute. Okay, in letter I, we have two parts, which is the substitute will be allowed to proceed to any awarded bases. Then 2, the substitute must illegally touch all awarded must or miss bases not previously touched. Then J. When a wild pitch or pass ball goes under, over, or through the backstop. Okay. When the umpire calls time. L. When any parts of the batter's person is hit with his own bat ball while still in the batter's box. M. When a runner run bases in the reverse under, either to confuse the fielders or to make interview of the game. N. When the coach near third base runs in the direction of home plate on or near the baseline while the fielder is attempting to make a play on the bat or thrown ball and thereby draws or through the to home plate. O. When one or more members of the offensive team stand or collect at or around a base to which a runner is advancing, thereby confusing the fielders and adding to difficulty of making a play. Then P. When a runner fails to keep contact with the base to which he is entitled until a legally pitched ball has been released. And Q. When obstructed, the runner is called out. Then R. When a black ball is declared. S. When a batter enter the batter's box with or uses an altered bat. Then T. When a batter's and I mean U. When with less than 2 out and anytime a runner is on first base, a field intentionally drops a fair fly ball, including a line drive, or run a bunt that could be caught by an infielder with ordinary effort after it is controlled with a hand or glove. And note about the letter U. If an infield fly is ruled, it has precedence over an intentionally dropped ball And V. When a fielder carries or causes a live ball to go into the ball territory. W. When the time has been called and the defensive player is making on the field. And X. When the batter fails to enter the batter's box within 10 seconds after the umpire calls play ball. When any person other than a team member enters the playing field and creates interference. Then G, which is the last. When spectators interferes with a live ball within the area of the playing field. And A for the letter G, when the batter runner step back toward from play to avoid or delay a tag by a fielder. And the effect. Section 1A runners cannot advance on a dead ball unless forced to do may reason of the batter having reached first base entitled to or they are awarded base or bases. And the section 1 rule number 9 is talking about the batter. Mas nakafocus siya or mas maraming kwan dito is about the batting or it's talk about the out. Kung paano yung release, paano yung rules pagdating sa mga out ng batters or ng scorer or runner. And let us proceed. The section 2, the ball is in play. The ball is in play. The following circumstances. At the start of the game and each half inning, when the pitcher has the ball while standing in his pitching position and the plate umpire has called play ball. B. When the infield fly rule is enforced. When a thrown ball goes past a fielder and remains in playable territory. When a fair ball strikes an umpire or runner on fair ground after. And letter D, they have a two section or two parts. Which is passing a fielder, including the pitcher, and no other fielder had a chance to make an out or touching a field, including the pitcher. A. When a fair ball strikes an umpire on the foul ground. F. When the runners have reached the bases to which they are entitled after the fielder illegally fields a bat, thrown or pitcher's ball. When a runner is called out or passing a preceding runner. Exemption. When a runner is called out for passing a preceding runner while the ball is dead, the ball will remain dead. H. When no play is being made on an obstructed runner, the ball shall be remain live until the play is over. And I. When a player ball is legally bought, when a runner must return and reverse order while the ball is in play. Okay. When a runner acquires the right to a base by touching it before being put out. L. When a base is dislodged while runners are progressing around the bases. And M. When a runner runs more than 0.91 meters or 3 feet from a direct line between a base and the next one in a regular or reverse order to avoid being touched by the ball in the hand or of a fielder. And when a runner is tugged or forced out. O. When the umpires call the runner out from the failure to return a touch the base when play is resumed after a suspension of play. P. When a live ball appeal play is illegally being made. When the batter hits the ball, when a live ball strikes a photographer, groundskeeper, policeman, etc. assigned to the game. S. When the fly ball has been legally caught. Then T. When a thrown ball strikes an offensive player. U. If the batter drops the bat and the ball rolls against the bat in the fair territory and the umpire's judgment, there was no intention to interfere with the course of the ball, The batter is not out. V. When the thrown ball accidentally strike a coach. Why? When the ball when the ball has been called on the batter, including ball 4. When a strike has been called on a batter, including strike 3. And A. When a ball tip has been legally catch or catch ba? Count. B. When the ball slips from a pitcher hand during his wind up or during the backswing. C. When a runner is called out from getting a running start from base on any fly ball. D. When a runner abandons a base, does not attempt to advance to the next base, enters his team area or leaves the field of play and is called out. A. When a runner is called out from being physically assisted by anyone other than another one. Exemption. When assisted and on a on a foul ball not cut, the ball will remain dead. And we have the last section from from the rule number 9, which is delayed dead ball. There are 5 situations when a violation of the rules occurs, an umpire recognizes it and the ball remains live until the conclusion of the play. These situations are: A. We have an illegal pitch, rule number 6. Catcher obstruction, rule number 8, section 1D. Late umpire interference, rule number 8 to rule number 8, section 8I. Obstruction, rule number 8, section 7B. And detached equipment containing a thrown ball and a pitch ball or a pair ball, rule number 8, section 7F. And now I'm going to present to you all about the rule number 10 and softball rules, which is umpires. Section 1. Power and duties. The umpires are the representative of all the league or organization by which they have been assigned to a particular game, and as such are authorized and required to enforce each section of these rules. They have the power to order a player, coach, captain, or manager to do or omit to do any act which in their judgment is necessary to give force and effect to one or all these rules are to inflict penalties has herein prescribed. The plate umpire shall have the authority to make decision on any situation not specifically covered in the rules. So, first we have general information for umpire. The umpire shall be not a member of either team. Example, player, coach, manager, officer, scorer, or sponsor. B. The umpire should be sure of the date, time, and place for the game and should not arrive at the playing field 20 to 30 minutes ahead of time. Start the game on time and leave the field when the game is over. Then C. The umpire's uniform and equipment shall be as outlined in the Softball Canada Official Certification Program. Then D. Umpire must not wear imposed jewelry that may pose a hazard. Exemption: medical alert, bracelet, and or necklace. And A. The umpire should not introduce themselves to the captains, managers, and scorers. F. The umpire should not inspect the playing field boundaries. field boundaries, equipment, and clarify all ground rules to both teams and their coaches. G. Umpire shall have the power to make decision or on violation committed any time during playing time or during suspension of play until the game is over. Then in letter G we have two parts, which is neither umpire has an authority to set aside or question decision made by the other within the limits of their respective duties and outline and these rules. Then two, an umpire may consult his associate at any time. However, the final decision shall rest with the umpire whose exclusive authority it was to make the decision in who requested the opinion of the other. Then H. In order to define respective duties, the umpire judging balls and strikes shall be assigned as the plate umpire, the umpire judging base decision as the base umpire. We have the plate umpire or base umpire shall have equal authority to call a runner out of for leaving a base too soon, call time or suspension of play, remove or eject a player, coach or manager from the game of violation of rules. 4. Call all illegal pitches. 5. Call an infield fly. And G. The umpire shall declare the batter or runner out without waiting for an appeal for such decision in all cases where such player is retired in accordance with these rules. And these are the parts of all number 3. Rule number 10. In rule number 10, we have the plate, section number 2, the plate umpire. It's talk about all the umpire, the base umpire, and chains of umpires, and signals, violation and penalties. And rule number 10, it's talking about or the umpire, and also we have the violation and penalties that given by the umpires. And this in section number 10, we talk about the rules of the being umpire. We have, and this article, na nalalaman dito the umpire has a right to do or to call some petition or to give some violation for the coaches or for the players. And let us proceed to the 11. And let us proceed to the rule number 11 of softball, which is protest. We have section number 1, protest that will not be received. A. Protest shall not be received or considered if they are based solely on a decision involving the accuracy of judgment on the parts of an umpire or if the team lodging the protest won the game. Exemption. If a game or tournament is played utilizing run differential criteria, a protest by the winning team will be considered. B. Example of protest that will not be considered are whether a battled ball was fair or foul, whether a runner was safe or out, whether a pitch ball was a strike or a ball. Then 4. Whether a pitch was legal or illegal. 5. Whether a runner did or did not touch a base. 6. Whether a runner left the base too soon or caught fly ball. Then 7. Whether a fly ball was or was not caught legally. 8. Whether it was or was not an infield fly. Whether there was or was not an interference. 10. Whether there was or was not an obstruction. 11. Whether a player is a live ball did not enter a dead ball area or touch some object or person in the dead ball area. 12. Whether a bottled ball did or did not clear the fins and flight. Whether the field is fit to continue or resume play. Whether there is sufficient light to continue play. 15. Any other matter involving only the accuracy of the umpire's judgment. Section number 2, which is protest that will be received. Protest shall be received and consider include matters of the following types: misinterpretation of playing rule. B. Failure of an umpire to apply the correct rule of to given situation. Then C. Failure to impose the correct penalty for a given violation. Note: Protest 1. Protest not above must be made before the next pitch legal or illegal. B. All infielders have left fair territory. Then C. On the last play of the game before the umpires leave the playing field. 2. After one pitch has been thrown, legal or illegal, no change can be made on any umpire's ruling. D. Eligibility of a team roster member. Note: Protests for the above are to be submitted to the appropriate authority, not the umpires. The protest or eligibility may be made at any time subject to the permission of the Rule 11, Section 5. Section 3. Protests involving judgment and interpretation of rule. Protests may involve both a matter of judgment and their interpretation of a rule. An example of a situation of this type follows: with one out and rule section and third bases batter field out. The runner on third tag up after the touch. The player on second did not. The runner the third crossed the plate before the ball was played and the second base of the third out. The umpire did not allow the run to score. A. The question as to whether the runners left their bases before the catch and whether the play is a second was made before the player on third cross the plate are solely matters of the judgment, are not protestable. B. Failure of the umpire to allow the run to score was a misinterpretation of the playing rule and was a proper subject for protest. Section number 4. Notification and intent to lodge protest. The notification of instant protest must be made and immediately before the next speech. Exemption, failure, and ineligibility. The manager or acting manager of the protesting team shall be immediately notify the plate umpire that the game has been continued under protest. The plate umpire shall in turn notify the opposing manager and official scorekeeper. B. All interested parties shall take notice of the conditions surrounding the making of the decisions that will end and the correct determination of the nation. Section 5. Time to lodge an official protest. The official written protest must be filed within a reasonable time. In the absence of a league or tournament rule fixing the time limit or filing a protest shall be considered a field within a reasonable time, depending upon the nature of the case and the difficulty for obtaining the information on which to base the protest. B. Within 48 hours after the scheduled time of the contest is generally considered a reasonable time. Section 6. Information required for written protest. The formal written protest should contain the following information: the date, time, and place of the game, the names of the umpires and scorers, the rules and section of the official rules, the local rules under which the protest is made, the decision and conditions surrounding the make of the decision. A. All essential facts involved in the matter protested. Section 7. Result of the protest. The decision made on the protested game must result in one of the following. A. The protest is found in, invalid and the game score stands as played. When the protest is allowed for misinterpretation of a playing rule, the game is replayed from the point at which an incorrect decision was made, with the decision corrected. C or last, when the protest for ineligibility of a team roster member is allowed, the game shall be forfeited by the offending team.